And welcome everybody back to the Built Different Show. We are back. Episode number 105. As you know, Kem is here. You know, Captain Kem, King Kem, Kemalicious.
Oh man, chemistry, bro.
And of course, I'm your host, Thomas
The
Saxby.
Sax
And we
man.
are going to hit it all today, man. We're going to be talking about the NFL draft. We're going to be
Yes.
talking about the MLB season. We're going to be talking about basketball, you know, the college tournament, all this good stuff. But first and foremost, Kem, how you doing? What's on the top of your mind?
Oh man, I'm good, bro. First and foremost, let me say peace, King. You know what I mean? It's nice to always get back with you and do what we do, man. In the world of sports, man, what a time to be alive. You know what I mean? We got the NCAA tournament going on. We got LeBron James Jr. Getting 17. You know what I'm saying? On Milwaukee. I mean, and got it the hard way. Like, you know what I mean? He showed a little bit of everything.
I hated that because before, I'll say something
Go
too.
ahead.
Before that game started, there
Uh-huh.
was a prop for 15 plus. It was
Oh
like
man.
plus 1,000, and I was sitting there debating it, like, should I throw a lot of money
Right.
on this?
Uh-huh.
But then I was like, you know what? I don't want to be pissed at the kids, so I'm just not going to do it. And I was heated,
He
Ken.
was cooking. It's what, like 7
Yeah,
for 10 or something like that? He was actually
yeah.
cooking. And
It was.
show
I mean, he was
Go
plus
ahead.
minus was like negative 37,
Yes,
but like
bro.
it was a
Yo,
good game.
crazy.
Yeah,
But the crazy thing about it was he showed a little bit of everything. So that was kind of good to see. You know what I mean? Like he's actually a bit stronger. You know what I mean? That G League appearance that he's having in and out of the lineup going down to the G League has been wonderful. It's nice to see, you know what I mean? I want to see what more is to come. You know what I mean? I also feel kind of funny as we're talking about the kids of the NBA stars with Carmelo Anthony Jr.'s son being snubbed. You know what I mean? From the All-American. So it's kind of crazy, man, being a top
yeah.
player in New York, you know what I mean? And committing to Syracuse to not get that nod. That's kind of crazy for me, man. To be honest with you, Kyan gets busy. I kind of told you, man, I kind of like watching the kids a little bit before we got to the tournament. You know what I mean? I had a good time watching the college kids. I watch, the high school kids. I even watch Bronny out there win his, watch Gilbert and Rena's son win his, you know what I mean, high school state championship. And then it was cool to watch kind of those guys get busy too. So it's kind of crazy, you know what I mean, to see him kind of, get snubbed that way. But man, that's what I got going on, man. Right now, the NCAA tournament. What I want to start off with, excuse me for digging into that, but I did want to make sure I gave those guys a nod. But what I want to talk about, man, is for my true basketball heads, man, the old school basketball heads. We got something going on in the NCAA tournament that we haven't seen in a long time. We had Rick Pitino, the coach of Arkansas, play Bill Self and those Kansas guys in the first round. Something that's normally like a Final Four type of appearance, we got to see it in the first round, which was crazy. Arkansas got busy, and then we got to see the classic matchup of all time today. You know what I mean? Well, not of all time, but it's a historic matchup with John Calipari and Rick Pitino. Of course, Rick Pitino and those boys was able to pull it out again. St. John's was really, really good, but offensively, we already knew that they had some struggles, you know what I mean, as far as it came to, being able to fill it up. It was actually even a low-scoring game in which these guys pulled it off today. So at the end of the day, man, I'm loving the tournament. We got Cooper Flagg came back. We saw him go crazy with that crazy injury on his ankle. Nobody knew what he was going to do, but they knew that he was going to come back once it was about the tournament and everything, and he came and did what he did, man. He played in – what was crazy, too, is that you seen him play in a rhythm. You know what I mean? Like, he did not, like, force anything. Everything was really, really natural, and that was like playing with his boys. You know what I'm saying? So it was really good to really see that. So people are in trouble, man. I can't wait to kind of talk about it. But, yeah, that's what I got going on. That's what I'm feeling good about right now as far as sports
Yeah,
is
man.
going.
I'm feeling good in general, man. As you
Mm-hmm.
guys can see, I got the fresh cut finally. Way
Yeah.
long overdue. My beard was starting to look crazy on some of these episodes. People were not afraid to tell me, man. But I'm feeling good. I got the Michael Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
Toon Squad jersey on.
Fire.
Baseball starting. You guys know how much I love baseball. I'm going to Washington, D.C. next Saturday
Mm-hmm.
to see the Nationals play their second game of the season. I cannot wait. But what I kind of want to rant about, what's on the top of my mind is, listen, man, New York Knicks, please, Jalen Brunson, please come back with
Oh,
health.
man.
Please come back to the court. I am begging you. I cannot stand Karl Anthony Towns as the number one option of this team. When it comes to the Knicks, you kind of start realizing how important Jalen Brunson is to this team, because while he might be equals on the talent level as Karl Anthony Town, if you want to look at, raw stats, Jalen Brunson is the clear heart and soul of this team. Towns can't lead the team. Bridges can't lead the team. And honestly, Tom Thibodeau can't lead this fucking team, if we're being honest with you at the end of the day. But with Jalen Brunson, I think we have a chance. I think a lot of things need to be looked at in the offseason, chemistry-wise. I think we do have a solid core moving forward. But when it comes down to, maybe coaching, depth, all that stuff, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But I'm not counting out the Knicks. I'm just saying I need Jalen Brunson healthy. Because like I said, I'd rather eat coleslaw. I'd rather do a lot of nasty stuff before I see Karl Anthony Towns lead this team in the playoffs, man.
Okay.
But speaking of get out of your
Ooh.
face.
Ooh.
It's
Okay.
tough out here, man, because it's the first time the Knicks are actually like championship worthy in a very, very long time, man. So,
Man, I'll
like,
argue that with you, but I mean,
no, and listen,
yeah,
before you argue, I don't
yeah,
mean
uh
like
huh,
the Knicks are absolutely like, gonna be in the picture. They're threats. This is like
hmm
the first time the Knicks you can actually have a conversation of them being contenders,
okay,
like actual contenders. You know what I mean?
okay,
Like if this happens, they can do it. If that happens,
right,
they can do it.
yes,
Because
okay,
before it's always fuck those guys.
right,
Even the last couple of years, people were like, no, it's not the Knicks.
hmm
But listen, man, speaking of college basketball, why don't you open up a little bit more about what's going on? I'll say this,
okay,
Cooper Flagg, man,
uh huh,
nice to see him come back. But if I had a controversial statement to get into this episode, I think he should have sat out this tournament, man. And that might be a weird way to look at it, but I think he's got this number one pick lined up. He should just go to the NBA, get ready for that journey of his career, not risk anything. But what I do like is that when he did come back in this, tournament game, he looks mature. Like if there was any doubts before, he looks very mature, playing through an injury. That's something that you do on the NBA level. There's no real avoiding that because of how many games are played. While on one hand, like I said, I felt like he should have skipped the tournament. I feel like if there's any of those teams that are up there in the draft, they're probably praying even more that they get the number one pick
hmm.
because he looks like he's going to have the leadership. He's going to have that playing through injury grit. He's going to,
hmm
like you said, the rhythm, the real mature rhythm that I think it's going to take to be in the NBA. So I'm finally fully sold on Cooper Flagg, and it's going to be fun to see who actually gets him
Okay.
in the
Okay.
draft.
Okay. Well, that's very fair. But I don't think that he gets any better by sitting out by how young he is. You know what I mean? He's very,
Yeah.
very young. So the more he plays is the better he's going to get. So, and as he gets deeper into the tournament, the intensity of the competition level raises, you know what I mean, regardless of the actual regular season, you know what I mean, type of game that he may get from the same team that he may face. So it's a great experience that I believe that is warranted for how young he is and for the upside of his career, as far as I'm concerned. Now, for the rest of the teams, man, that may have a shot in this thing, man. I'm looking at
Yeah, I was
Florida.
gonna say, who do you think is gonna win?
So
Who do you
so
think?
listen, so
Who
it's
you
funny,
got?
man. So it's Florida. So there's a couple of teams. The SEC did really well, but as things are going, we're going to see how things are going. We're going to see how things are going to shake out, rather, is what I should say, right? But right now, man, I'm really loving Florida. I'm loving Duke, right, with Cooper Flagg being back. Houston, right? Houston's always in the thick of it. And then it's like a wild card, you know what I mean, after that. You know what I mean? It's pretty much a wild card for me after that. But I go with those three, you know what I mean? Like right now, Florida, man, those boys are bad. They almost like two gun Tony or something. Like they, you know what I mean? A switchblade or something. They got two of everything. Like it's nice. You know what I mean? To actually watch them guys. You know what I mean? Like so
They built a
it
really good program
yeah,
up
they
there.
got a nice program, man. So it's pretty cool to actually watch those guys play. And again, Duke. And then Houston, man, for what those guys, man, what he got going on down there, it's a beautiful thing, man. And they're always in contention. They play really hard. The only thing that's kind of crazy that I may have to worry about with them is like, they play really good defense. You know what I mean? And as the tournament goes on, you know what I mean, it'll get a little ticky-tacky, which calls for a low-scoring game, which, reduces rhythm and things like that to where as though it may, you know what I mean, give them less of a chance. But yeah, loving it
Yeah,
though, overall, bro.
fair enough. Hey, man,
hmm
it's always a good time of the year,
Yeah,
March.
for sure,
So
man.
Myles Garrett
Yeah,
is staying as a Cleveland Brown, and
yeah.
one of the most weirdest
Uh-huh.
things I've ever seen. How do
hmm
you feel about that?
Well, it's kind of crazy if you ask me how I feel about it. So it's pretty layered, right? I think that this is one of those things where it says that money can buy happiness. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, he was looking to be in contention, right? With the amount of money that they paid him, I believe that they still can be in contention, right? They got a early round draft pick this year. They're looking to maybe get Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson to be a bridge, as Jameis Winston is now out of there and signed. You know what I mean? To be in New York. You know what I mean? You're
Deshaun
gonna be,
Watson
yeah,
kind of just
exactly. And
that.
Deshaun Watson is not gonna play this year. He got another ACL injury. So, or you know
And
what I mean?
I think
Or
he like tore his Achilles
yeah,
again,
Achilles.
which
That's what I
like
meant to say. Excuse me.
that's
Excuse me.
like that's
Yeah,
like career ending.
that's what I meant to
Uh,
say. Yeah, he tore his Achilles. His
yeah,
Achilles got messed up again. But anyway, with that being said, I think that like at the end of the day, too, man, money talks, bullshit walks. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You know what I mean? I think it's no question he is who he is, and nobody's going to be mad at him for taking that bag. But I think that at the beginning, he literally does want to compete. But after getting the money and looking at taking a step back and seeing what they do have and what they could accomplish, you know what I mean? I think that he was smart to take the money too.
yeah, man. I mean, I think it's a crazy situation, but I think what I love the most is that I think this probably means that Myles Garrett's going to be a Cleveland Brown forever.
Yes.
And when you look at the history of the Browns, I think they've really needed a guy like Myles Garrett, and I
Hmm.
think the franchise understood that, because I think what Myles Garrett, his thought process in it was, of course, I want to go play for a contender. The Browns were like, we're not going to trade you. So Myles Garrett was like, you know what? I'll resign for this amount of money, probably assuming that they'd say no because it's the Cleveland Browns. And then they just replied back to the text message and said, okay. And then it was done. But like I said, it's a weird situation. He all off season he wanted out. He had to face the criticism for it. The Browns media saying this and that about him. But I think ultimately it was the correct move. I don't know if it was the correct move for Myles Garrett. I think we'll see, but I think it's the correct move for Cleveland because they've achieved some of the best defenses we've ever seen over the
Absolutely.
last 5 years. You know
Without a
what I mean?
question.
Like, to the point where like they carried Joe Flacco. Well, I mean, Joe Flacco obviously was good, but they carried that team into the playoffs and
Yeah.
had us even believing that they could win
Hmm.
a couple games, and that's the first time we felt that about the Browns in a very long time. I mean, I
Agreed.
know I would say even before Baker Mayfield, but it'll be interesting what they do in the draft. I think that's just the start of a very it's gonna be interesting to see where they go because, like you said, they need a quarterback. They're gonna need a few other things. I mean, I think the good thing is that they saw Jerry Jeudy kind of evolve before their eyes as well.
Hmm.
Still have a decent defense.
Yep.
They still have a two-time coach of the year. It's not like Cleveland is
Abs-
absolutely eliminated from contention. They just need to figure out a quarterback.
Agreed.
And I think Aaron Rodgers fits a lot of these teams well, man. But that's a conversation for a different topic.
Hmm.
But your Yankees, man,
Whew.
coming into this, they have a lot of injuries. How are you feeling as a Yankee fan? It was going from the World Series to this.
Well,
Oof,
what it's looking like, with Garrett Cole, happen to have the surgery.
Tommy John, man.
Yeah, I mean, come on, we
You hate to
know.
see it.
Yeah, man, what is there to expect? I mean, the rest of the bullpen is okay. Um, I don't know, man. I didn't think I thought we were gonna scrap this question. You know what I mean? I'm sad, man, as it pertains. Man, listen, man, yeah, I'm sad, dude. Like it's gonna be horrible, and it's funny. I'm happy to hear, just to kind of swing the bat in the other direction. I'm kind of happy to hear that you are going to a Nats game. You know what I mean? Early in the season to get that going, because you know what I mean. You'll at least get to see something. You know what I mean? Like currently, right now, what are we gonna do, man? And Soto is
Go
playing.
Dodgers,
You know what I mean? Is
man.
playing in Shea. So like at the end of the day, I might go with you down to Washington, bro. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah! Listen, man. I mean, so when it comes to it's just a sad thing to see because it's like you're coming off of an off season where you went to the World Series, and it's not even only that you lost Juan Soto, but there's a lot of questions about Aaron Judge because
Yeah.
like now more than ever, if the Yankees are gonna go to the postseason this year, Aaron Judge is gonna have to produce. So there's gonna be even more pressure on Aaron Judge on top of the fact now that he has to carry this team to get to that point. But the one thing I do want to point out about this whole Yankee scenario is that, well, two things actually. One, I find it funny that the Yankees were trying to trade Marcus Stroman all off season. He gets to spring, he's like, "I'm a starter. I ain't coming out
Mm,
the bullpen." All this discourse, and now the Yankees actually have to use him probably as their fourth starter going into the year. So I find that a hilarious dynamic. But Marcus Stroman's a professional. A lot the media
yes.
tries to point it one way and say he's a cancer to the locker room and all this stuff. I think he's a baller. I think he'll come through for him. But the second thing is Giancarlo Stanton, man. Is no one sitting there questioning this guy? Like, I mean, he has been so injury prone for the past several years, but that's not even the point. Coming into this year, he has injuries to both of his elbows, and he has this random, I think they said it was a quad injury or an oblique injury that's been lingering. So my thing is like Giancarlo Stanton, an animal where he goes and he hibernates all winter, and you know how you feel after a really long sleep, right? Your back might hurt a little bit, neck might hurt a little bit. Like, is he sleeping wrong? Is he not sleeping at all? Is he like, because he's in incredible shape. I mean, you see the guys, guns all the time. Like, the dude is jacked, but he don't have no speed. He doesn't have no health. I honestly really question what's going on over there, man. Like, did he take steroids during his career and his body is just
Falling
not,
apart, huh?
like, you know what I mean?
Mm,
Like, it's so questionable how this guy had all off season to heal, to feel good,
hmm
and he's coming into the year with two sore elbows, like he's been jacking off all winter, and I just I don't get it, bro.
That's why I didn't
I
say
really,
anything about the specifics because I just want to cry, bro. The bullpen,
because a lot
Garrett
of it
have
don't
to.
make
It doesn't
because like
make sense. Like, what are
Garrett
we?
Cole has had this elbow injury. I think he's had this elbow injury going back to when you guys signed that extension.
Without a question, agreed, one
So
hundred percent.
it's crazy. I mean, it was lingering last year. Like, he missed the first couple months
Yeah,
of last season with the elbow injury. Like,
yes.
imagine, like, what if he got the surgery then? Like, well, like, it's a whole lot of crazy shit. But we're gonna see how it goes, man. New York Yankees. But hey, if you want to go on that Washington trip, man, let
You
me
know what I
know.
mean? Like, come
Let me
on.
know. But
Whew.
let's dig it. Let's get back to a better topic. So NFL free agency.
Mhm.
What do you got? What do you want to talk about when it comes to free agency, my
Well,
guy?
there's a couple things. Do you want to talk about the still things that are still out there as far as free agency goes, or would you like to talk about some of the things that are already
I mean,
squashed
hey, so, I mean,
and
yeah,
kind
we
of,
can talk
you
a
know what I
little bit
mean,
about
set in the books? Okay,
Aaron Rodgers.
yeah, we can do that too. Yes,
Do you
yeah.
think Aaron Rodgers can actually help a team?
It depends on which team we're talking
Because there's a
about.
lot of teams that need him. Like, I think the
Yeah.
Vikings could use Aaron
hmm
Rodgers. The Browns could use him.
Absolutely.
The Steelers could absolutely use him.
Absolutely.
I think in my
The
opinion, I think he's
Giants
a lot
as well.
better option than Russell Wilson. And
Okay.
I know Russell Wilson won some games last year,
hmm
but it was nothing exciting. I think Aaron Rodgers. People got to forget that Jets offensive line was almost near the bottom. Like, I'm not.
hmm
It wasn't the worst in the league, but it was below the top 20. And Aaron Rodgers, he put up the stats that he did, having to throw really fast to all of his guys.
hmm
So he at least has that about himself. I think if he goes to a team, I said it, before, if he goes to a team like the Vikings, who
hmm
have a good offensive line,
hmm
that could be squeezing that one last year out of him that he has left.
Plus, he got Addison, Jefferson,
Oh my god, that's what I'm saying. The Steelers, he'd have DK Metcalf, who they just.
Hawkinson.
But yeah, no, the Vikings would be
Mm.
absolutely filthy if they
Yeah,
had Aaron
Kevin
Rodgers.
O'Connell. I think that's a good look. I even think with Stefanski it would be a good look. You know what I mean? Like those guys are great coaches. You know what I mean? But I do believe that without me, being corny or nothing, it was already reported that he went and visited with Pittsburgh, I think
Yeah,
yesterday. So like at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It's Russell Wilson is second fiddle to him right now as far as teams go that are left
yeah.
as far as need a quarterback. So with him, you know what I mean? It looks like Russell Wilson would end up in New York, you know what I mean, as a Giant. I mean, in all
I
honesty, you know what I mean?
forgot the Giants actually play into this.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I think he might end up as a Giant, to be honest with you. And it's kind of funny as I kind of switch gears there. You got Daniel Jones, who went to Minnesota, who's now going to be in Indianapolis. You know what I'm saying? Where he might even actually get some burn. You know what I mean? Because you know
He
what I mean.
will, but I don't know if it'll be good though. Like I
hmm
don't.
I mean, 14 million. They're gonna let him do a little bit more than you know what I mean. Provide just
That's what
some.
I'm saying.
You know what
That
I
was
mean?
a crazy contract to
Yeah, like he gonna do a little more than just stand around, bro. So like at the end
Yeah,
of
and
the
I
day,
think what they're doing there is I think they're putting a lot of pressure on Anthony Richardson. Like, bro,
yeah,
are you gonna actually?
hmm
Because like last year was sad, man.
yeah,
Like, not only did he have his continued injury concerns, but sitting out at the end of one of those games that they played,
hmm
not really like the franchise obviously lost full confidence
hmm
in this dude. And I still think he's talented, but there's still a lot of growing to do. And this is about to be his third year in the NFL. I think that
hmm
growing should have already taken place. So, we'll see if they're signing Daniel Jones for a lot of money. That must mean they're really ready to move on from Anthony Richardson if that's what it's going to be. We'll see in training
We'll
camp.
see. We'll see. I don't think they're going to move on, but I think that they might do. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had to sit behind somebody. He never got to sit behind anybody. They threw him right in there as soon as he got there. Joe
Of course.
Flacco came and played a couple games in his steed while he
Yeah.
was hurt, but at the end of the day, it was not as if he had played out of the spot. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he hadn't really had any tutelage besides the coaching that he was given
Well,
after,
I
you know
just
what I mean,
think
being
like
just a freak athlete who didn't even play a whole bunch of
yeah,
games in Florida. So at the end of the
and
day, you know, I mean, he still has nice touch. He has very nice touch. He still does have really that RPO threat is always going to be there. He's bigger than the average dude. He's faster than the average dude. It's just about, you know what I mean, getting with and having the time, I believe, to actually make the right decisions. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, bro, and somebody like Daniel Jones is somebody that good to be behind like that because Daniel Jones will take off on you, but he also knows how to get down. He also, you know what I mean? He knows when to, you know what I mean? Like, but
right.
what we'll see, you know what I mean, is how that pairing will work. Now if you want to kind of move on, that's a low level, you know what I'm saying, kind of free agency
Yeah, 'cause
talk. You know what I
I
mean?
was
I don't think we need to get him too
but
much
I don't
burn,
think
bro.
Mahomes wants to
But
hear that.
yeah,
No,
man.
man. I truly do. I really feel like Aaron Rodgers does have,
Hmm.
one more good year left in
Yeah,
him. It's just I didn't think it was coming
yeah.
with the Jets. I mean, especially unfortunately after he, tore his Achilles year
Hmm.
one
Hmm.
into that tenure. But I think he has one good year left to give. I just think it has to be in the right situation.
Agreed.
I don't think the Giants. I mean, the Giants have a very underrated defense, in my opinion. They've been working on the O line, but it's just like when you're in a division with the Eagles, and then you're in a division with now you can say the Commanders, who look like they have the right heads
What
on their
they
shoulders
get?
finally.
They went crazy in free
And,
agency.
and just like as much as I shit on the Cowboys, you can't forget about their existence either. Like they still have a lot of talent on that team,
Hmm.
that could put together some wins. They were just all hurt this year.
Hmm.
So with that being said, man, the Giants. What I feel like they should do is I feel like they should get Russell Wilson.
Hmm.
Wait, maybe he gives you something, maybe he doesn't. But I don't think this quarterback class is even kind of perfect for them either because they're getting most likely the last quarterback that's going to be available out
Hmm.
of the
Hmm.
guys that are there.
Yeah.
But man, who do you think had the best off season though? Who do you
Well,
think? I mean, obviously we still got the draft and stuff,
hmm
but
well, so
so far,
far, yeah, I love
who do
the.
you
Well, I'm not going to say the best, but I'll kind of go through it. I think that the Commanders. I love the Debo signing. I love the Will Harris signing. You know what I mean? To kind of reinforce the secondary.
yeah.
He can play multiple positions, you know what I mean, back there. So I love that. I think the Bears, you know what I mean, kind of did okay too.
I mean,
You know
getting
what
that offensive line built with some low
yeah.
level draft picks, I thought was
Yes.
they're working up there, and I think that's the good
Mhm.
thing
Mhm.
right now. That's different than the Justin Fields situation and other situations is that they're going to
Mhm.
constantly work on this,
Mhm.
and I think Caleb Williams is going to get nothing but better. And I know you might disagree with the whole Caleb Williams. I think it was a good year. I think
Okay.
it was a good year to build off of.
Okay. To build off of, I have no problem with accepting that at all. I just still believes that there needs to be some decisive decision making, training and work done in this offseason. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Kind of keep it or throw it. Get rid of, you know what I mean? Like, cause even Jared Goff, you know what I mean, who has no wheels, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, under Ben Johnson has a high and fast release. So let's hope that we get Caleb on that same train. But I also love listen, Seattle's in a build mode, man, but I love what they did. I love them giving Sam Darnold the bag. I love them getting DeMarcus Lawrence. We kind of talked about it a little bit before.
I didn't
Um
understand why
mhm,
Sam Darnold went to the Seahawks though. Of all the options that were laid out there,
Why
like
not? I
the
mean,
Seahawks ain't winning, man.
I
They're
mean,
not gonna
okay.
win.
I mean,
I mean,
Smith and Jigba is nice. You know what I mean? Like, I have no,
yeah,
he does
but
have somebody to throw to. But of course, they're in rebuild mode. But I mean, like, what is better for him besides a situation that is all his
no pressure. But
yeah,
like,
he gets to grow in, and there's a hell of a coach out there, man. I love the coach out in Seattle right now. They
oh yeah,
also, yeah, they got Cooper Cup out there with them too, man, this offseason too. They got Cooper Cup out
sweet
there.
man.
So, like, at the
Wow.
end of the day, yeah, man. So, I mean, they still got some building to do. But, I mean, Sam, I like him. I think that, at the end of the day, it'll look okay. But that's really, really it, man. You got Justin Fields signing with us for the 40 mil, basically a 1-year deal to see what he does. You know what I mean? I think we still got some
I
other.
think it's a cool little deal because
Mhm.
like Justin Fields,
It's 2 years,
you know,
but it's really a 1-year deal.
what was he like 6-1, 5-1
Mm-hmm.
before Russell Wilson came through.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's nice. Like the Jets, they aren't buying into, they didn't want to give any of the quarterbacks on the open market a big deal, or
Mm-hmm.
else I fully believe they would have given that to Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to take a chance in the draft because they probably don't believe the quarterbacks that are there.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably is a good idea to kind of just throw it at Justin Fields, who at the very least, I think he has a lot of upside. If he gets to the right team with the
Mm-hmm.
right, buttons to push, I think Justin Fields will be good.
Agreed.
Um, and the thing about Justin Fields too is he likes to spam throw to the number one wide receiver. So
Mm-hmm.
I think Garrett is gonna,
Be happy.
Garrett Wilson. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna get a lot of targets. He's gonna shine this year. I
He
think that's a
definitely.
very underrated, fantasy value pick when we, get over there. I honestly, one
Appreciate it.
take that I have ultimately is I think the Bengals, man, they saved their franchise putting all that money into T. Higgins and Jamar Chase because look, I get it. They need to spread that money around. They're going to need some defense. They're still in need of building a more stronger offensive line. But I think if you were to let go Chase and you were to let go T. Higgins and not have that and then still not have the rest of the stuff that you're looking for, I think that would have been worse for Joe Burrow's development than that. Because they have a formula that works. Those three, that is the formula that works. They just not only need to be good in the first half of the season, they need to develop a good defensive scheme that can work without having to pour so much money into it. Because you see the Bengals, they've been trying with that defense, getting a whole bunch
Trey
of different
Hendricks.
guys.
I mean, Trey Hendrickson is the heart and soul of that defense, who actually has been leading the league in sacks for
Yeah,
basically the past 3 years. But the thing
right.
is, he's supposed to be getting paid now too, and they already told him to seek some money. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, I agree with what you said. You know what I mean about as far as that being the core, but man, you can't outscore everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like, you know what I mean? There are some tough ass corners out there, you know what I mean, that'll
right.
make the day long. You know what I mean? And then aside from that, what about the front four with the weak offensive line? Or somebody's playing you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. It's still going to be a tough out. So at the end of the day, man, they got to get some equalization going there. But I do agree and am happy that those boys got paid, you know what I mean, before they got a chance to go anywhere else. I think that also has to play in and has everything to do with the shelf life of Joe Burrow as well. You know what I mean? I don't think they wanted to waste his worst years by letting those guys get out of there either, because I think that he probably would have tried to get his ass up out of there.
Yeah. What do you think about the 49ers basically
Yeah.
offloading everything?
I mean, not necessarily. If you don't get rid of Christian McCaffrey, you know what I mean. Like, you don't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like, that's
Not
a
an official rebuild till you do that.
yeah, you know what I mean? As far as the offense and everything like that goes, I think Brock got his little bag that he needed, you know what I mean? As far as that 5th-year option type deal. But other than that, what am I supposed to say, man? I think that they're in a tough division over there, man. Like, it's gonna take some, it's gonna, you know what I mean? And they had a lot of players. They had a hard 4-year window. You know what I mean? Like, they have to rebuild that window. And nobody better to do it than Kyle Shanahan, man. I believe in his smarts and his schemes. You know what I mean? And his coaching more than anything. So at the end of the day, of course, it does look like an offloading, but I think they're still going to always compete.
Yeah, and I think like the Cardinals especially, I think they've had a very underrated offseason. Not a lot of
Okay.
people are talking about the
Okay.
Cardinals, but they made a lot of improvements on their
Mm-hmm.
defense. I
Mm-hmm.
think, they're starting to build on something good there. They have Kyler Murray as their quarterback, and they absolutely committed to
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray. And then you have Marvin Harrison, who's going to be in year 2, and I love that guy as a wide
Mm-hmm.
receiver. I think he's amazing. It's just him going to the Cardinals kind of made him a little bit underrated. Especially when you consider like all this other crazy rookie talent that came into the league,
Yes.
last year, kind of
Yes.
outshined him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I think we should just rip the Band-Aid off.
Okay.
Philadelphia Eagles. Where was your head at with the Eagles offseason?
I love it. What do you mean?
Well,
Yeah.
because listen, man, there's a lot of people out there that think the Eagles kind of fucked up, letting a lot of people go. But in my eyes, you can't pay them all. I think the Eagles
It's
are in a good spot.
yeah, it's the same thing with the
Ultimately.
49ers, but the Eagles
Yeah.
still have a bunch of other young pieces, you know what I mean, that aren't going anywhere in the core of the
And we got
offense.
to pay those guys
Yeah, in the
eventually because
core of the
those guys are
offense.
generational.
Yes,
Like
man.
clearly, they're generational.
Yeah,
If they
yeah.
were enough to win the Super Bowl
Yeah, that's why I
last
say
year,
I
I
love
think
it.
the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
love it.
I don't know because a lot of people are like, "Oh, the Eagles giving up this guy, that guy. They're not going to be as good." But the reason that made the Eagles defense good is that they had so much pieces. They had
Yeah.
so much talent everywhere
Mm-hmm.
that we can get rid of some of these guys. Slay, I don't think it's a big loss. Gardner Johnson, I'm not saying it's not a big
Don't say it's
loss,
not a
but
big loss, bro. Come on now.
you know,
Slay?
who?
Slay? Big play
Sl-
Slay?
I mean, I guess as a locker room leader, but like on the
Yeah.
field, I mean,
Yeah. You need that
you know what
stuff.
I
You
mean?
need that, bro.
But I think he gave us what we needed from all that.
Okay.
I don't with Vic Fangio there, I'm here for whatever the hell's going on.
Okay.
Throw me and you out there, bro. I think Vic Fangio would
Could
make
get us
us look
right.
good.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
But I think I like it because the Eagles have a lot of cap space. So like if they really need something, they can go grab it
Mm-hmm.
at any point in time through trade. They have how many draft picks was it over the next 2 years? Like damn close to like 15,
Yeah, it's
16.
a
Like
lot.
the Eagles have a lot of draft picks. They have cap space, and that's what's dangerous. They have all these young guys. They have a fully stacked and loaded offense. Like, remember, they gave Saquon more money. A.J. Brown was extended last year. Devontae Smith, I believe, is coming up on, receiving some type of contract.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the Eagles, man, like, people just they can't forget how much talent this team truly has. On top of they only have to do to replace an offensive coordinator, but his job's going to be easy. You come in, you give the ball to Saquon, and you let Jalen Hurts take care of the rest. So it's not like any like real brain moves need to happen from the offensive coordinator. And that's what you got Nick Sirianni there for too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's an offensive mind as well.
Yeah.
But we hired within, so I'm fine with free agent. I'm already ready to go, man. I want this season to start. Like Eagles just won, and I want another one, man.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah,
see.
you got
We'll see.
anything else you want to talk about free agency wise?
Cowboys take note from the Eagles. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I mean they got Miles
Oh,
Sanders.
they get me a little mad, bro. Like if you're Dak Prescott and you're CeeDee Lamb, at the beginning of the offseason, they offloaded some of their contract,
Mm-hmm.
and so taking less money now, they're probably sitting there like, what the fuck? Y'all ain't do nothing. So why did we have to give up our money? It has to be nothing but turmoil in that locker room, man. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be toxic and bad this year.
It may be. The funny thing is, like I said, you seen what Lawrence had to say as soon as he got off of the plane. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then there's so many different reports about, like, you know what I mean, how the organization is run. Like, it's kind of crazy, man. I watch
Yeah.
and read reports and watch tweets and look at, you know what I mean, like posts, man. It's funny, man, to see that like some of the things that go on there you don't see it anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think that it's really good as a business for people there, but not all the time is it about like I think it's always about winning, but it's hard to have the winning with all the other distractions, you know?
Yeah, man.
So
It's gonna be fun to watch for me as an Eagles fan.
absolutely, it's a shit show.
Tell you that. But let's go into some NBA rankings here.
All
So
right.
I want you to give me your top 5 NBA candidates for the MVP. Or my bad, let me go back. Give me your top 5 MVP candidates for the NBA right now. I know there's a lot of debate about Shea and
Mm-hmm.
Jokic,
Mm-hmm.
but I want your top 5, King, in order.
In
In
order.
order.
All right, so my top 5 in order, man. And I'm gonna keep it plain and simple, man. We're gonna go with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, number 1 overall.
Okay.
Team leading the NBA basically by a mile right now. You know what I'm saying? I think the nearest team's what, 12 games? Excuse me, on their side is 12.
Yeah.
Cleveland is what, about 6 games or so behind them. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, man, they're the king of the league. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander doing it every way, cutting you like a switchblade. You know what I mean? He can't be stopped. I mean, it's crazy to watch it. You know what I mean? Him, Jay Will, and the boys, and then their defense, man, with getting Chet back. It's still to be tested once the playoffs come. But right now, because of what he has done with the sum of all parts by himself, right? As a star player, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Then we got the walking triple double for this season. I mean, come on, man. I cannot play.
Doing some really historic things,
Yeah,
Kim.
Nikola Jokic. You know what I mean? The team.
Ridiculous what
Yeah,
he's doing.
yeah. It's just crazy, man. I can't play. It's amazing to see a center have so much control, so
He has
much
3
dominance.
MVPs on this
Yes,
thing.
man. Working on 4. We're gonna go with Giannis. Okay. Should go with Donovan Mitchell. Okay, Donovan Mitchell with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think the brother has had a hell of a season, even though they're on a 4-game skid right now. Okay, he was like 2 for 18 the other night, last night. If I'm not,
Donovan Mitchell, I just
man.
hope he's getting his
Mm-hmm,
nastiness out the way now, because we usually see this,
mm-hmm.
every other game in the playoffs. So
Yes.
hopefully they can get that out their system now,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can go in the
Yep.
playoffs and he can be a little bit more
Yes,
consistent.
yeah. But listen though, the cool thing about it is they had 2 15-game win streaks. So this year is
Yeah,
not a bad look, you know what I mean? Like to be kind of, you know what I mean, on a 4-game skid
they
right
figured
now.
out a good
So
formula, man.
absolutely, 2 15-game win streaks. I'm not mad at them at all. But at the end of the day, I got Donovan Mitchell. Spider has been playing
Okay.
and the way that they've been playing is crazy. Then I got Giannis. Okay. I would have him a little bit higher with the amount. I mean, listen, he's scoring like a mother. He's averaging what, 32 and 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's missed. You know what I mean? The amount of games that he's missed. You know what I mean? I don't have him that high. Still totally dominant. Loving what he's doing on a night-to-night basis on both ends of the floor without a question. And then my 5th. Listen, he's not even playing right now, but I would have had him in consideration with the type of season that he was having, with the additions that he was getting. You know what I mean? That his second year in play, with the additions that he got, I would have had Victor in the consideration as my
All right,
5th
that's fair.
pick
I
for
like that.
MVP.
I
Yep.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I mean, number one, I'm gonna agree with you for now, but I think it's very close. I got SGA. Man, like not only is he having a great year, but he's having a good year on that defensive side
Mm-hmm.
of the ball too.
Mm-hmm.
He's having these electric 40. I think he had a 50-point game in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's absolutely killing it atop the West. If we look at anything in the past in history, it doesn't matter. If like for example Kobe averaging 35 points a game, it's all about the teams that are dominating the NBA and who's the main reason for that success. And obviously we can point
Mm-hmm.
right to Shea. Chet's
Mm-hmm.
been on and off the court.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Williams has been on and off in
Mm-hmm.
terms of consistency. The rest of that team's depth is always with the Thunder. They have so many players. They switch people in and out all the time on who's playing that given day. But SGA has been, I love the guy. He's come a long way. He's been very underrated for so long. It's finally good to see him get those flowers. But listen, man, Jokic at my number 2 is, just like he is at your number 2. Jokic, he cannot be denied. So like if we're looking at it, it easily, like this year, let's say he wins MVP, this easily could have been his 5th MVP in a row. We already know what
Mm-hmm.
happened 2 years ago. They gave it to Embiid, as like an apology for the year before or whatever. But this could have been his 5th MVP in a row. Never been done in NBA history. So, and he's averaging the right stats for it. It's just unfortunate that Shea is ahead of him in the standings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even close. The Thunder are, your best team in the NBA. But Jokic, man, just the triple doubles, having the Nuggets in a spot where we believe that they can contend for a championship, with
Mm-hmm.
how bad Jamal Murray has been this year, with how inconsistent Michael Porter Jr. has been this year, with how inconsistent Aaron Gordon's been, Russell Westbrook on and off the court, not a lot of depth, but you have Jokic, the Terminator,
Mm-hmm.
the Dominator, the whatever you want, the Sperminator, Ayo, whatever you want to call him.
Cool it.
He He's cooking. Number 3, I got Giannis, man. And listen, like, you could say what you want about Giannis, but the one thing is, I think he should be a lot closer than what people really have him at right now. I think he is close to Shea and Jokic. Obviously,
hmm
he doesn't beat them,
hmm
but when you look at his stats, he's averaging 30 points,
Yeah, like that.
12 rebounds.
Yeah.
He has 6 assists. He's averaging 60% from the field, a steal, a block. Like, he is absolutely, like, he might be on an all defensive team and he might be a top 3 MVP. The Bucks are actually doing good. Like, I mean, I think they're 5th in the NBA standings right now, but like, thank their lucky stars with how toxic it started in the beginning, of the year. But I really do think, Giannis should get more flowers in this conversation, man. Like, Giannis is an absolute beast. Number 4, you know, and I feel like I might get some hate for this because the number 4 and 5 is unconventional. I'll admit that right now, but I got
uh,
LeBron James.
okay, that's not a bad pick.
Shout out to your Lakers,
Yeah,
Ken, but
yeah,
LeBron
that's
James,
not a
like, when
bad
you talk
call.
about in the beginning of the year, you have Anthony Davis. Second half of the year, you got Luka Doncic, and he's gotten better over the year. I don't even want to talk about the fact that he's 40 because that's insane, but that means nothing
hmm
to the MVP conversation. I just from day one, he's been mostly healthy this year. 25, 8 and 8, 50% from the field, 38% from 3. A lot of win shares, a very good PER. LeBron James, man, as much of a hater as I am of LeBron, I think he's cooking this year, man. I don't think it can be denied. The Lakers were just second in the West. And number 5, again, unconventional. I got Cade Cunningham. I got to give some flowers to a guy that has the Detroit Pistons
Give me
looking
some
good.
flowers.
Of course. But Cade,
Yeah.
the guy that's actually on the ball on the court, he got the Pistons clicking for the first time and I don't know how long. And this is coming off of that major leg injury that I believe he had just last year. It might have been the
hmm
season before. But for him to come in here and lead these boys, these young boys, to doing what they're doing right now, I hope he gets some love in all of this, all NBA, all of that. Because Cade Cunningham, man, he's doing it all. He's scoring, he's rebounding, he's assisting, he's scoring in the clutch. He's not shying away,
No,
from the moment. I mean, I just watched
no.
him dazzle in a loss,
hmm
but he was
He had
dazzling in the fourth
35.
quarter.
He had
Yeah,
35.
like
Yeah, he went crazy. Yes.
he had like 8 in the first
hmm
half.
hmm
So Cade, man, gotta give him a lot of flowers, man.
hmm
Detroit is up, and a lot of it's because of him. A lot
hmm
of it.
hmm
But
Okay.
good rankings,
Listen,
man.
listen, I have no problem with that at all, man. I love that. Like, we can talk about things that we both wrap around to or we come to
Yeah.
later on because at the end of the day, man, dudes is balling. And I love the NBA season, man. It's a long season. So you get a sample, you know what I mean, of some guys, but the real guys stretch it out. You know what I'm saying? Through those samples. Cade is
Hell
on
yeah,
his
man.
way.
So moving into the top 5 NBA
Come on, bro.
MVP seasons of all time,
Come
I'll
on, bro.
fly through mine because I'm actually really intrigued in yours. But listen, man, first I'll give an honorable mention to
hmm
James Harden.
hmm
39 and 5 in the 17-18 season. He was absolutely dominant. Looking back, that highlight tape is insane. Very good year. But number 5, I got Wilt Chamberlain. 1959, 1960, averaging 38 and 27. Listen, man, he was abusing.
That was
Yes,
the wrong,
38.
but that's the wrong season, bro. That's the wrong season. I love you, but you picked the wrong season.
How is that the wrong season?
The season that you should have picked real quick should have been 61-62 when he averaged 54. He averaged 50 and 26
He didn't win
rebounds.
MVP.
No, but that's the game that he scored. That's the year that he scored 100 points in the game
Well, he
too.
didn't win MVP.
No, okay. All right, bet. But they would they
So
was
that's why
they was jiving on him. He been killing him.
This is
Yeah.
best MVP seasons of all
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, bet. Okay.
So the reason why I took 38 and 27, I was gonna give a shout out. I don't know how the hell he doesn't win MVP with a
Okay.
50 game season, but he came and he showed up and he was abusing them white guys. Man, he's probably one of the reasons that segregation lasted a little bit longer because
Hold on.
he was out there abusing them white dudes. Man, them plumbers, them midgets, them dudes that were just out there getting cardio so that they could go home and, their wife could be proud of them for something that they're doing on the side. Wilt Chamberlain was out there like abusing. I don't wish I was alive back in that day, but I do wish I was, so I could witness just how good Wilt Chamberlain was. I'm sure Kem could tell me what those days were like. Nah, I'm just playing. But number 4, I got Kevin Durant's 32 points per game season. His mom being the real MVP. I think, that season right there, just alone, 32 points per game, modern era of NBA, and winning the MVP because the Thunder were so good. I think it was an outstanding year. Number 3, I got Michael Jordan at 35 points per game with the 5 and 6 on the side, 87 to 88. The only reason I don't have it higher is because it didn't really matter to the Bulls championship hopes. They didn't do anything that year. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, Michael Jordan did a lot in that season, all the awards that he did win that year. But averaging 35 is a really insane year to always look back on when it comes to MJ. Now, number 2, I got Steph, his unanimous MVP season, averaging 37 and 5. The reason why I love this season so much is because it changed basketball forever. The league went upside down after that, when in regards to shooting that 3 ball. But number 1, and this might be a shock, but this is just something I put together quick, so don't kill me. I got Giannis, 2019 to 2020, the year he averages 30 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. I thought that he was just so dominant that year. And I got that number 1. I know I'm going to get killed for it, but I was a huge fan of that year as it was happening, man.
So I'm gonna give you a schwa, you know what I mean? Off of that list, because some of what you mentioned I have. So my number 1 top of the top MVP seasons of all time is in his 4th season. Michael Jordan showcased his all-around excellence. He averaged 35, like you said, 5.5 rebounds, 6 assists, 3.2 steals, and he also earned Defensive Player of the Year that year.
One of the best years ever, man.
Come on, stop. To me, that is the best MVP season of all times, right? Number 3, I am going to go with number 2, I'm going to go with another that you've mentioned that I happened to witness later in history. Steph Curry's 73-9 historic season, unanimous again, but there's something else that you didn't mention that I'm going to highlight, is he also broke the record for most threes in a season that year with 402 threes. Okay, so that was iconic all in itself. You know what I mean? To see him do that, something, that took Ray Allen, you know what I mean? Like, that was just amazing, all in itself. Then I'm going to go with number 3. I'm going to go with LeBron James, 2012-2013 season.
That was a fun year.
Yes, sir. 73-9, 27-game win streak. You know what I mean? What he averaged 30. He averaged 30, leading the league in steals. That was crazy. It was crazy. That was a great year for him. They had a 27-game win streak that year. No, he averaged 27 that year. 8 rebounds, 7.3 assists. They were 66 and 16, 27-game win streak. That was his 4th MVP in the 5th year. That's why I like that. Number 4 is going to be Russell Westbrook, man. That's one of my guys, man. That 2017 season, he averaged 32, 11, and 10 and had a 50-point triple-double. Average a triple-double for the season. The first time since Oscar Robertson. Come on, you got to get that to him.
That's fair.
Now, number 5.
You got it, Unc.
Number 5. All right, number 5. I tried to lead a horse to water earlier in this mention because, listen, we know that sometimes there's always a villain and a superhero. I was not alive. Nowhere near was I alive. I don't even think my daddy was alive or my mama was alive. But in 61 and the 62 season, when Wilt Chamberlain averaged that 50 points where we were talking about earlier, 26 rebounds, he scored 100 points. Guess who won the MVP that year in the midst of all of this shit?
Big Bill.
Yes, sir. The man that has the most NBA championships of all time. Now, that was a very, very controversial year, okay? So I'm still giving the MVP to Wilt Chamberlain.
Walt Disney.
Shit. Man, I got the mic set up, bro, and I done lost how to talk. Shit. But
Yeah, man.
yes, man,
I
those are
don't care
mine.
what anyone tells me. I have
Yeah.
Wilt above Bill Russell on my all-time list.
Yeah, you know they
Like
only
Bill,
argue it because he doesn't have as
like
many championships, and you know what I
yeah,
mean?
man. But
Yeah.
like when you look at that Celtics team,
Mm-hmm.
like they were above and beyond. Like their whole
Yeah.
team as a whole, like
Mm-hmm.
there was no competition. Like Wilt
Mm-hmm.
Chamberlain was playing with his local mechanic, his
Mm-hmm.
local mailman, like whoever they could pick up out there
Mm-hmm.
in Philadelphia and San Francisco and wherever, else. It wasn't until the Lakers until he had like a team full of dudes. But then
Mm-hmm.
by then the talent was starting to catch up, so we only won one there as well. But yeah, man, good list.
Yeah, we're gonna get it on that.
Good list.
Let's see how they think about that. I think that we did good.
So
Like
let's talk
yours.
about LeBron James and Stephen A. Man, what was your take on that, John? I know we're pushing like a week and a half of that all
Mm-hmm.
happening.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about it?
Well, we're pushing a week and a half. But every time LeBron James or something is in the headlines, it's funny to hear how it's jabs still thrown and stuff like that.
Stephen, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
I
funny.
think
You
Stephen
know
A.
what
has
I mean?
been like,
Yeah, I think that he just real, you know what I mean? He just spicy, you know what I mean? I don't think it'll ever die down. But I don't know what type of father he is. You know what I'm saying? But I
yeah,
understand what type of father LeBron James is. You know what I mean? I think that he took it as a direct attack. You know what I mean? We have to realize. I
he
watched
has
a
the right to defend himself.
yeah, he has a right to defend himself, and he has a right to defend his child. I think that one of the best opinions that I'll take, if I could take any opinion on it, and I'm gonna borrow it. Shout out to my guy Gil. You know what I mean? And Gil's house, what they do over there at DraftKings. Man, I watched an opinion over there where he talked about playing for 21 straight seasons and missing 21 years of his son's life, and being able to spend a whole year with his son without no year in his life ever before spending a full entire year with him. And with Bronny being a pro player now, with having the ability, you know what I mean? I totally, you know what I mean, kind of identified with that. Was like, damn, that makes all the sense in the world. So it makes
Yeah,
sense why, you know what I mean? So it kind of, what I'm thinking and what I'm trying to explain is that I think that what we saw was what Stephen A said on air, kind of touched LeBron, you know what I mean, emotionally. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And he got the reaction because what we saw was mid third quarter. It was not the end of the game like a lot of people assumed when they first saw the clip. It was mid game, third quarter at some point when LeBron just couldn't hold it, like most people can't do when something's really bothering them.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
And I mean, and yeah, this will be a time where I agree with LeBron. I think Stephen A. as a sports analyst, I don't think anyone should ever come for someone as a father unless they actually do some
mm-hmm,
fucked up shit.
mm-hmm,
Like Adrian Peterson. I love Adrian Peterson. That whole situation was crazy. I'm not gonna say like that's a whole conversation for a different day
yeah,
whether discipline should be
mm-hmm,
involved in parenting or not. But
mm-hmm,
like at the end of the day, then you have a right to kind of judge a man on his parenting, because if you really want to judge LeBron on his parenting, what has he not done for his kids? He's given his family 3-4 generations worth of wealth, that if they continue on, like, that wealth is never going to run out. He is most likely a billionaire currently as we stand. I know he's made $1 billion, but he probably currently stands today as a billionaire. What were you going to say?
Well, only thing I wanted to say, bro, was like I think the other thing was too was that it bothers him because it's like you judging his decision as a father in playing basketball too. So like it
Yeah.
was just like kind of, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like even as a I love criticizing and breaking down the
Yeah.
game and you know what I mean, being critical of players and things of that nature for the game that I love as well. But at the same time, how he delivered that message seemed like kind of an attack more than
Like,
it
why
was
don't you just
any
say
other
Bronny's ass? Like, why
yeah,
don't you
any
just
other
say Bronny's
breakdown.
ass? Like,
You
why
know
do you
what I
gotta
mean?
say anything about
Yeah,
LeBron's
and giving
parenting?
yeah, and giving all that
Like,
backstory about that's why I didn't go see him in high school or in college and all, like none of that shit matters. What you said is
who
what you said.
cares?
Yeah. You know
Just
what
say
I mean?
Bronny's ass and let's
Yeah, what
move
you
on.
said is what you said, man. Get the fuck out of here. And then just leave it at
Like,
that. Like it's we all were watching. We all thought the same thing. He was not ready at the time that we saw him in the appearances that we saw him in. But we knew that something was going to happen. People just said a whole lot about it. We knew that he was going to go to the G League. We knew that we were not going to see him again until he, you know what I mean, proved himself in the G League. And once he proved himself, he still came back and he still goes back to the G League to freshen up. So it's just crazy. And he's the 55th pick. We don't hear about any other 55th pick ever. Sorry, bro. I just wanted to, you know what I mean, kind of get in there and say that. Like, you know what I mean? It's
That's kind
crazy.
of what I mean. It's like how, like, so Stephen A said something to the extent of, LeBron's, bad parenting because he forced Bronny James into the spotlight. No, he didn't. No matter what, right? We're talking about LeBron James, possibly the best NBA player of all time. Like, if Michael Jordan doesn't exist, LeBron is hands down, easily, Myles, the best NBA player ever. I'm sorry to say it, but like, when it comes, and I know the old school people say whatever they want about LeBron, but you can't deny what he's done for the game and what he's done in the game. And even if LeBron doesn't, quote unquote, force Bronny into the spotlight, if he doesn't get Bronny to the Lakers or whatever, there's two things I want to point to that. One, there was multiple reports of multiple other teams wanting Bronny James, but obviously, the agency stepped in and said, we're only going to the Lakers, we're only going to the Suns. But there was teams that wanted to take a chance on him before that pick. And number two, he was going to get drafted no matter what. He's LeBron's kid. I mean, Michael Jordan can't help that his fucking son was a fuck up, but he was getting looked at for the league. Do we not remember those times? Like, he was getting looked at for the league, but, obviously it just wasn't in the cards, for his son. But, when it comes to LeBron, he's done nothing but given Bronny James the opportunity to do whatever he wanted to do with his life. It's just so happened that Bronny wants to be like his dad, and it's not a bad thing. He wants to play NBA. He loves basketball. I mean, that's this dude plays 2K all the time. He's like in the gym. He's on the Lakers now. Like, he's just a really chill dude. Like, there's nothing wrong with this guy. Like, I don't understand. Like, I get hate LeBron, but why are we pushing that hate onto LeBron as a because if anything, he's one of the best fathers to ever exist. Like, he didn't even have an example. He didn't have a dad in his life to show him the way, and he's turned around and he's created all this, this beautiful life for his whole family. He hasn't been in the headlines for anything bad unless it's fucking basketball related. Like, I don't know what more. Like, and I sound like a LeBron homer, like this. Like,
no, you just spitting facts. You see my teeth. You see, I keep smiling, like, because you know what I mean. Because I don't have to do it. You know what I mean?
What more does LeBron have to do to be seen as a good dad than Stephen A?
Listen, and it's crazy. Like, you seen how I went off, like when you asked me the question about LeBron being 40 and what, like, none of that matters because all of the overall he's like, as far as basketball goes, he's given us the best version of basketball we could ever wish for in this span of basketball. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, he had
doing it all.
Yes, he has treated the game and not cheated the game at all. He treated the game with love and not cheated the game at all. Like, real talk, man.
And it was real shit. Like, we got to see him lose. We got to see him win.
Bro,
yes,
man. He treated the game right and did not cheat it at all. You know what I mean? So he's one of the GOATs without a question. Yeah, it was wild. But listen, the crazy thing is that, like, at the end of the day, so it's just like you and I, bro. It's just like me learning to get comfortable to call motherfucker sucker ass niggas, and you know what I mean? That was some dumb ass shit. Like, I got to get comfortable with saying that shit now on camera. You know what I mean? But and we're nowhere near as big as him. But, like, you know what I mean? But it's just crazy, you know what I mean, to have those kind of relationships and be in the know and be willing to say that shit. Like, come on, man. I'm sorry, my fault, bro. But you told me I got to get comfortable. You know what I mean?
All right, let's switch the tone a little bit. So I want to redraft the 2020 NFL draft, man.
Okay.
So
top 5.
Do you think you should go and I should go, or should we combine for one list? You want to hear me out and see if you agree with me? You want me to hear you out? How do you want to go about this?
Let's combine. Let's do it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, let's combine.
All right. So number 1 in the NFL draft, Cincinnati Bengals. I personally think that they should keep the pick, Joe Burrow. I think coming out of LSU, I think he's still, I mean, it's hard to debate Justin Jefferson on who was actually, like, overall, the best player coming out of this draft. But I do think Joe Burrow stays number one to the Bengals, man.
Okay. So with number 2, you already said it. You kept it really easy.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Who has more yards than him?
That's fair, but like, who is the Commanders quarterback going into that? 1 second. Alex Smith. You
Yeah.
see, I think they would have to go with a quarterback, man. I feel like the Commanders would have to go with Justin Herbert in this redraft. I think not really having a solid QB, like they were going with Alex Smith. I think Dwayne Haskins was in that mix. Maybe Tyler Heineke, if I'm remembering the year correctly.
All right. Well,
I
let me
think they.
switch that pick. Let me switch that pick then, because I don't agree 100%. Right.
Oh,
Only because I don't agree 100%. Right. Well, no. I'm talking about as far as the Commanders go. Okay. As far as the Commanders go, because there was a lot of hype. Everything was based around Alex Smith making his comeback, and you know what I
Dwayne
mean?
Haskins.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Dwayne Haskins. Like it was amazing. It was a lot of hype around that. Am I in the same year now? We're talking about Chase
Hey,
Young.
we're around that time.
Yeah, Chase
Yeah.
Young coming in, making a whole lot of noise. Everybody's expecting him to do something, right? But I think, if I'm being honest with you, brother, I am willing to swap and go with Justin Herbert at number 2 as
Yeah,
the
because
Commander.
I think like
Yeah,
if the
that makes the
Commanders,
most sense.
if they drafted at quarterback here,
Hmm.
I think they could have developed this a lot. I mean, obviously now you can't be mad. You got Jaden Daniels, who seems to be
Hmm.
one of the best, next best things walking. I mean, he's already here. You can't even say the next best thing. He's already, he's here.
Hmm.
But I think what that would leave is the Lions getting Justin Jefferson. I believe this was the end of Matt Stafford's run with the Lions, or was this? Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, so Stafford was still the quarterback here, and that's why I didn't want to let Justin Herbert fall to this point, because I think, man, what if the Lions had drafted Justin Jefferson to be in the last years of Matt Stafford's, quarterback run, and then they could still switch Goff and Stafford, but to have Justin Jefferson as that number one wide receiver for the Lions, can you just imagine?
Hmm.
Like, I think that would
That would have been
have that
beautiful.
honestly, Stafford would probably still be in Detroit.
Yeah, because he would have had somebody, but
Because with as good, yeah,
he
with
didn't
as
have him.
good as Justin Jefferson was right away, that would have done wonders for the Lions. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'll
Number
take
three.
that. Yep.
Okay. So then that leaves an interesting number 4 with the Giants. I want your take before I give my hilarious take.
Oh man. So number 4, I think I would go down, not knowing how good he was going to be, and select Henry Ruggs the third.
Ooh, in a redraft,
Yeah, yeah,
the prisoner,
yep.
Henry.
Because he probably wouldn't have went to jail. That shit wouldn't have happened, and
Wow.
he would have been on track to be great. He was on pace to
Yeah,
be
man. I remember I was
great.
drafting him in some of my Madden leagues,
He was
man.
on pace to be great before that dumbass
Yeah,
shit, bro.
was sad to see that dumb shit.
Literally.
But I got a crazy take here. I
Go
think,
ahead.
listen, man, with
Hmm.
all the question marks that were still around Daniel Jones,
Hmm.
with I believe Saquon was drafted the year before this, correct? Year maybe two,
Hmm.
whatever he was drafted.
No, 2 year.
I had the Giants going for a winner.
Hmm.
And now, since we're doing a redraft, we have a proven winner. The New York Giants at number 4 select Jalen fucking Hurts in this redraft.
That's crazy. So he jumps really high.
Why not, man? I mean, so the Eagles, they drafted Jalen Hurts to be a backup to Carson Wentz.
Hmm.
I think the Giants, they get Jalen Hurts to give, Daniel Jones some competition, because I
Okay.
think that's what was missing that whole time. Like, if you really think Daniel Jones is a dog, if you really think he's got it, then test him now, rather than, testing him, whatever. That shit was disgusting. I'm going with Jalen Hurts.
Okay. All right.
So number 5, I mean, Dolphins, I think they stick with Tua.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
He
I mean, I
was
was thinking
he
CeeDee
couldn't.
Lamb, but they really
No,
did need a quarterback.
yes, and he
Yeah.
wasn't going anywhere else, like where the weather was going to not permit. You know what I mean? All that kind of thing. Everything was set up for him to go to Miami anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, cool. That's our 2020 redraft.
yeah,
Let us know what you guys think.
hmm
I'll make a couple shorts from that.
yeah,
But yo, I want to do a draft. So listen, if you guys didn't see the short that I had put out, me and Kem did a draft, an all-time NBA draft, and
yes,
his team beat mine. He almost blew it.
yes.
So what happened was that his team was dominating mine. Michael Jordan was a ball hog. Jokic and LeBron on my team were just getting a lot of spot up shots.
hmm
Jokic trying to run into the paint. It just wasn't working. But then they made a comeback because LeBron went on a tear. But Kevin Durant for Kem was absolutely unstoppable. Kawhi was playing some great defense. He ultimately won because Michael Jordan missed the game tying and one basket.
Let's go.
So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna draft teams we're gonna draft players that were not NBA All Stars in their career.
hmm
So you get to choice to go first or second since you won the 2K draft. You're officially 1-0, Kem.
Okay. All right. So for my point guard, I'm going to go with.
Okay. Starting off at PG.
Yeah, I got to start off with PG.
All right, do it.
Damn, brother. Not named an All Star.
Never an All Star.
Never an All Star.
Never.
So for my PG, I think I'm gonna go with. Damn, I gotta. Damn, me a shooting point though. So how I want to run this? Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna go with him anyway. Cause I need his two-way ability. I'm going with Ron Harper.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. You're going with Ron Harper.
Mm-hmm.
My first pick, not at point guard,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna go with Lamar Odom.
Great, 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 great pick.
Never an NBA All Star, but I think Lamar Odom, he does it all.
Mm-hmm.
Score the ball, rebound the ball, pass the ball, play defense. That's the guy that I'm gonna need on my team right here.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I love that. So who I'm going with, someone just like them. A little bit
Okay.
more upside. I love that Lamar pick. He won some chips with me, and my man Kobe. Rest in peace. Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna go with Rudy Gay, I think I'm gonna go with shooting guard here.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with Monte Ellis. Listen,
Ooh, okay.
very underrated player. Was robbed a couple times of All Star, in my
Uh-huh.
opinion.
Uh-huh.
When he was on, he was almost unbeatable.
Mm-hmm.
Wet paper bag on defense, but we'll get through it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna pick some defenders. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna go with somebody who I feel get busy a little bit more. We'll see how the sim plays
Okay.
out. Jamal Crawford.
Ooh, yeah, that's the one I was kind of iffy on letting go because of Monte.
Yeah, I'm going Jamal Crawford.
All right, so I just got point guard and two big men.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I want some defense out of the power forward slot, so I think I'm gonna go Serge Ibaka.
Nice. Nice call. Nice call.
Might be a little bit of a weird pairing there, Lamar Odom and Ibaka as the 3 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
but Ibaka won't demand the ball too much, so I don't think it'll matter.
I got something for you there. I got something for you down there. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going with Marcus Camby, man. I'm going with
Oh,
Marcus
that was
Camby.
my next pick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay. As long as we on the same wavelength. I just got there first.
fuck. So who? Okay, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna need a little bit more time to figure out my center, but with my point guard, I'm going with Mr. Underrated himself. He's a champion in this league. He got dunked on by LeBron, which seems to be his biggest highlight. I'm going Jason Terry at my
Nice.
point guard position. I need that good shooting duo
Not
of
bad.
Monte Ellis and Jason Terry at my 1 and 2, which means I only got a center left.
Not bad. All I got left is a power forward right now. I'm going with my boy, man. So listen, man, all my people know me, man. Brick City born and raised, but I also been all over the map. So I gotta go with the legend. And if you don't know, you know now. Mr. Drazen Petrovic.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I think I gotta go a little bit weird here on the center. My last pick. This could be a make or break decision. But listen, you took Marcus Camby, so I'm gonna need someone big in there. I'm gonna need someone to I need someone to at least bang with him in there. So I'm going with the 7-3 Arvydas Sabonis.
Not bad. Not bad. Not
A
bad at
short
all.
NBA career, but I think he was good. I think he was a great player. Good, gave
Mm-hmm.
us a good little 6 year run. Going with Sabonis, man.
All right.
So let us know. I'm gonna run this through a 2K sim, but also we want to know who you guys think would win that draft. What you
But you
got?
got your honorable mention in there though, don't you? I got to put my honorable mention in, or my. You got a six man or no?
No,
Oh my bad. Okay. Because
but you
I got
honorable mention.
I
I
got
mean,
to
if I had
miss
an
because
honorable
I
mention,
got a miss position that I got to flip out
okay, go for it.
because I got Drazen in there and he was a 2 guard slash forward, but I need a true forward because I got Jamal Crawford and Ron Harper. So I'm gonna go with Tony Kukoc.
Ooh, okay,
Okay.
that's a good pick though.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean my honorable mention. I mean would probably be Kevin Martin here,
Okay.
Eddie Johnson, maybe
Mm-hmm.
Mike Bibby.
Okay. Not bad. And listen, I ain't even going to front. I had to go with some defense before I went with offense, but I would have took Rod Strickland as my number one point guard overall. I'm gonna be honest with you. I believe
Not a bad pick.
a lot of all what we see with Kyrie is an older version, is a newer
Yeah, no, I
version
hear you.
of
I hear
Rod
you.
Strickland. But yeah, Ron Harper. I got Ron Harper, Jamal Crawford, Marcus Camby, Tony Kukoc, and hold on, one more, Rudy Gay. Yeah, let's see what goes on.
Yeah, that Rudy Gay pick was
Yeah,
crazy. I
let's
mean, I
see what
got
happens.
Jason Terry,
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Monte Ellis,
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Odom, Serge Ibaka,
Mm-hmm.
and Sabonis.
Mm-hmm.
My top five.
Yeah, let's see.
All right, man. So the last little game here that I kind of want to play, man,
Mm-hmm.
is Would You Rather. So I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Yep.
I'm gonna give you two NBA players, and you just gotta tell me
Mm-hmm.
if you were the owner or a GM of a franchise, which player would you rather have right now?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna start this off with Cade Cunningham or Jalen Green.
Cade Cunningham.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're confident about that?
Yes, I'm confident about that. I'm gonna go with the two-way ship of him. I think the floor generalship of him. I like the upside as well as the ability to be able to create for others, as well
Yeah.
as
I wanted to give you a little easy one to start
Yeah.
off with, not a lot of
Okay.
stress. I
Yep.
don't want
And
to,
I mean,
you know.
oh wow, I keep knocking it over today. I got to get used to this, y'all. I got the new setup. But what I do know too is Jalen Green is now coming to his own as an actual
Yeah,
offensive identity. Okay.
right. That
So,
is correct.
okay.
All right. So Cade Cunningham
hmm
or Evan Mobley?
Do I have anything already to build or?
No, this is just who would you rather have on your team if you were a GM? This is a good one right here.
I'm going. I'm going Evan Mobley.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going Evan Mobley now because of
We love his game. We love his
yeah,
game.
we love his game. I'm going with the surefire defense, the surefire ability to block shots, the surefire ability to, lock down 3 through
Do it
5,
all.
as well as not being able to be held by either 3 through 5. So I'm going to have to, man, as much as I love Cade, everybody knows that, you know that, I'm going to have to go with Evan
Okay.
on where he is right now and where he's ascending to.
All right. So Evan Mobley or McCall Bridges?
Evan Mobley.
Okay. Evan Mobley or Miles Bridges?
Evan Mobley.
Okay. Evan Mobley or LaMelo Ball?
Evan Mobley.
That was easy.
Easy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Evan Mobley or Austin Reeves? Lakers fan.
Evan Mobley, man. And listen, Austin is on a heater right now, bro. He came
Yo,
into
he
his
is.
own. I
Yo, him
am,
and Luca,
listen,
they're representing for us
I
Caucasian
knew you
motherfuckers,
was gonna
man.
say some shit like that, and I ain't mad at you because they getting busy. You know what I'm saying? Like I love
Yeah,
it, and I love everything online about Austin right now. Like it's the one where he telling people like this is how it's always been. You know what I'm saying?
it
Like
has.
every
Yeah,
time
he's
he
been
walk in the
really good,
gym,
man.
though, you know what I mean? They like, nah, I got the white boy. You know what I'm saying? And he always got to give him the business. Now I think he's still a little banged up though. What's good about this too is that he's banged up. You can't start talking about the Lakers, and I'm not gonna, have something to say.
Of course, of
But
course.
yes, man, I'm still going with Evan Mobley. Excuse me,
All right, Evan Mobley or Carl Anthony Towns?
Evan Mobley. Youth and
Dang.
youth and juice, bro. I trust him right now. I think that youth and
Okay.
that juice, you know what I mean, and his IQ, it's all catching up with the physical. You know what I mean? It's all like this right now, bro.
Evan Mobley or Kevin Durant?
I'm still going with easy money sniper, man. I gotta go with the easy money sniper, bro.
Kevin Durant?
Yeah, I gotta go because now we deep off in the weeds to where as though I'm losing offensive prowess. Like, you know what I mean? And now I
Yeah,
just, you
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? So now, yeah, I'm going with
Okay.
easy money. hmm
All right, last one. Kevin Durant or Devin Booker?
KD.
Okay. KD is the ultimate, guy. That's cool. I want
Yeah.
to do that more often. I
Yeah.
like those little segments. I
Yeah.
like those segments.
Yeah.
So listen, man, we're gearing towards the end of this episode. We only got a couple more things to hit you guys
Mhm.
with. But we want Kem hit me up. He said, "Yo, man, we gotta talk about the greatness of Steph Curry. We gotta ask some uncomfortable questions. We gotta get going with this."
Mhm.
And man, listen, I couldn't agree more. Because if you guys know me, on past episodes, I don't think me and Kem have gotten to talk about it too much, but on my past episodes, I have clearly stated I think Stephen Curry is top 5 all time. I think him being the best shooter of all time, plus having MVPs, plus having championships, pushes him automatically top 5. Basketball is about scoring the ball into the basket more than it is about anything else. And you're talking about the best one to shoot it. I think he's absolutely top 5. But listen, he recently, milestone after milestone, man, it
Mhm.
just keeps on going. What do you think ultimately about the legacy of Steph Curry? Where do you ultimately put him? What do you think he has to achieve, in the next few years to, set in stone that legacy? What you got?
Well, so first to answer the first question, you said to kind of cement it. And you're right. So first let me answer that. I say probably win another chip. I think
Okay.
that of course he sustained a pelvic injury here the other day. But I still think
I
that
think
they're
he wins another chip, man. I think
yeah.
he's top 3.
Yeah, so
Like it's
listen, and that's kind of crazy, bro, because that's where I wanted to go and why I was reaching out to you. Because I'm starting to think, you know what I mean, and all the basketball I watched over the years, the basketball you know what I mean, all the basketball we've taken in over the years, um,
yeah.
as grown people, as young people, and everything like that, I gotta say that he is really, really moving close to this top 3, right? And I just gotta, I had a couple of bullet points, man, that I wanted to bring about. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
go for it.
On why I believe that he is actually moving into the top 3. Now, the key thing is what you said last, though. What you just said is I still believe in order for him to get there, though, to the top 3 conversation, right, is win one more chip. But I think that he is closer than anybody by a mile right now.
But
Okay.
you would say that he's for sure top 5 and that he's for
Yes.
sure the best point guard of
Yes,
all
he's
time.
all right. So listen,
Okay.
let me just go into it real quick. So first thing I'd say,
Okay.
like his versatility and adaptability, all right, whether playing along Kevin Durant, right, or leading this younger squad, he thrived. You know what I'm saying? Like he got good as he's not his efficiency, none of that has gone down. His longevity, consistency, none of that stuff is going down. Like some people have had runs that have lasted 6 years, 5 years, you know what I mean? Whatever. Him and LeBron are like Iron Men right now. And then when you
He's 37 now, 36,
Yes, man. And
37.
then when you think about it, man, and he maintains the efficiency as well as the motor. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anybody that is conditioned as well as Steph Curry is at this age. Him and LeBron James, man, what they do to
Yeah.
take care of their body, it's amazing. Now,
I'll agree.
mhm,
I mean, at first when you say that, I think I disagree, but then if you actually think about it and you consider that Steph used to like tweak an ankle walking down the street, you know what I mean? He
come
used to
on,
do that.
bro.
He was LaMelo Ball
Come on,
before
man. Come
with
on, man.
mellow ball. So I get
Yes,
it.
I had a
He
problem with them other
eventually,
Armour sneakers. I'll never wear anything Under Armour due to what it did to him early in his career. He still wears ankle braces, you know what I mean, full time. You know what I mean?
man,
So it's a funny thing. But anyway, but listen, winning in championships. He's a four-time NBA champion, 2015, 17, 18, and 22. Two-time MVP. The first unanimous one in 2016, which we talked about earlier in the episode. All right, listen. He's also a leader in one of the greatest dynasties with the Golden State Warriors. Everybody want to say something about the addition of Kevin Durant and everything like that. They were able to win without Kevin Durant and with Kevin Durant. All of the times had Steph Curry on the team. So he has to be in this conversation. All right. Listen, now we got to also talk about something that without a question, we gotta like kind of get into now, because I'm from the era of where you had bunnies. It was always talked about bunnies, springs, everything that was in your sneakers because you was taking off on dudes. We still love to talk about this. We still love to talk about dudes getting up. But what Steph Curry has been able to do is change the way that the game is played. Everybody don't have
yeah,
bunnies, but everybody does have the ability to be able to hit a quick, you know what I mean, step and hit a step back and shoot a jump shot. So at the end of the day, the way that he's been able to change the game, now not everybody has the same unprecedented shooting ability as as Steph Curry does, but he is the greatest shooter in history, man. We cannot just take away these things away from him. Now, of course, we love to see the game that we love to see the game when we fell in love with the game. And whether that was just dumping the ball into the paint, hitting a quick shimmy up and under, you know what I mean, a bump, a spin, whatever to get, whatever it was, you know what I mean? We cannot deny what he has done to the game. All right. Now listen, we also want to talk about how he revolutionized the game. It ain't no player in basketball in the modern who has changed the game more than Steph Curry with what I just said just now. So everything that I just capsulated, man, is why he is moving into the top three. That's my argument for Steph Curry. All right. That's my argument. All of
I
those
mean,
things is why I feel that. I can't say that about five other players that we've witnessed in the past 20 years. You
yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So, like, all of these players who are in the top 100 were in the past 30 to 40 years. You understand what I'm saying? So, I would.
And that's basically I agree, man. I
Mhm,
think when you look at Steph, you look at everything that he's achieved. So he won a championship, with the homegrown team. The team,
mhm,
they won it all with all the players that they drafted, minimal free agent acquisitions. Then they won with the big guy when
mhm,
they got Kevin Durant.
mhm,
Stephen Curry was able to play that number two, option on the team. He
mhm,
was able to play, that Robin role well, to contribute to winning two more rings, but then also recovering from being one of the worst NBA teams in the entire league, to stick with it, stick it out, stay with the team. And they came back and they won another, on the back of him and Andrew Wiggins, and all them guys out there in
mhm,
Golden State. It's basically just rehashing what you were saying. I truly believe that for the NBA, you say, what's the most important thing? Shooting,
mhm,
scoring, putting the ball in the basket.
mhm,
To be the greatest, because we would probably say what, Michael Jordan's the best scorer of all time.
mhm. Without a question,
That
I would say that.
that's
Yeah.
one of the things that pushes him to number one.
Mhm,
LeBron James, one of the best all around players of all time, one of the best longevity players. That's what
mhm,
puts him either one or two. And then Kobe Bryant's in the conversation because he's one of the most determined players ever.
mhm,
These are the core things about the NBA. You have to include the greatest shooter of all time.
mhm,
We can't include the greatest defender of all time because we don't even know who that is. Like
mhm,
there's arguments for everybody.
mhm,
But I guarantee you, if there was one player, which it could be, it could be Victor, who ends up one of like the absolute, not one of, but the absolute best defender of all time, they'll end up in the top 5 list too.
mhm.
But I think when you talk about NBA and what it stands for, shooting and all this other stuff, man, you have to put him top 5 because he is the best shooter of all time.
And
And it's like you said, he flipped the game upside down.
yes,
No offense to LeBron, no offense to Kevin Durant, all them. They didn't flip the game around like Stephen Curry flipped the game around.
and
Everyone is shooting these deep threes because of Stephen Curry.
And that's what I was going to say. So thank you for that was the last point that I actually did not make. LeBron James has been the face of the game for the past 20 years, but Stephen Curry has reshaped the NBA and the game over the past 20 years. He has totally changed the way that offenses are now strategized, even if they don't have the equivalent of a Steph Curry on their team. You understand what I'm saying? They actually have manipulated the analytics to make people shoot more threes by how prepared and how good Steph Curry is. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing, bro. It's fucking amazing. That was the last point I wanted to make on that. But excuse me.
Yeah, I think moving forward, we might do an episode where we'll actually rank them. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, Steph is undoubtedly in my top five. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he has the achievements. I just think people just, when they look at a point guard and they say, Magic, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay. Magic was a dog.
Yes.
Everything that he did, he was a dog, and
Mm-hmm.
he's going to be featured in my next list here, which is a good segue.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did here is we did a ranking. So Kem is going to do the top 5 most underrated 5-year runs in
Mm-hmm.
the NBA all time, and I'm just going to do the best.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you go first, or do you want me to go
You
first?
go first. Let me hear what you got.
All right, cool.
Uh-huh.
So the top 5 most underrated years of all time, right? So listen, number 5, or actually, what? I'll start off. I'll start off at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, we're gonna go with who I think is the best player of all time, right? So from 1987 to 1991, 5 years, Michael Jordan averaged 34.5 points per game, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, a block, only 3.2 turnovers, and then also on 51% shooting. I think this also led into him winning championships. I think he won a championship on the tail end of this run. That's definitely my number one. Number two, I got to shout out LeBron James, 2008 to 2013, end of his Cavs run, beginning of his Miami Heat run, averaging 28, 7, and 7 on 58% true shooting. He won 4 MVPs in this stretch, 2 championships, which should have been more, 2 finals MVPs. He was an all-star every year, all first team every year. But the other crazy thing is he was on 5 all NBA first defensive teams those 5 years in a
Mm-hmm.
row. So that's spectacular. Now the next one, I got Shaquille O'Neal, 1994 to 1998. Listen, man, this was his Magic run going into his Lakers run. It was dominant. He averaged 28. He was Big Diesel, 28 and 11 rebounds. On 57% shooting. That's right in the beginning of the Lakers run that he had with Kobe. This was at the end of this. He won an MVP. It was just dominant. He became one of the best centers of all time because of this run.
Yeah.
Now, number 4, I got Magic Johnson. Listen, 1985 to 1990. He was the guy that kind of like, I don't want to say he invented the triple double, but he was the one that really drove it home. He averaged 21, 7, and 12, which wasn't really seen like that on 60%
Yeah.
true shooting. At the same time, won 2 MVPs, 2 finals, and finals MVP, all NBA the whole entire run. It was him and Bird. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
revolutionized and probably saved our sport. And then I got 2015 to 2019 Steph. It's like you said, the way he changed the game cannot be denied in these conversations. The records that he broke, the teams that were there, the championships that were won, the history that was made. Steph is on this list.
Yes.
But go ahead, give us
Okay.
the underrated ones.
Okay, no problem. Now these are 5. Now what I did was do 5 underrated runs of all
Yes,
time. All right,
no
like
order.
what I thought. Nope, I'm gonna give you an order, man. So you've been trying to give me order, so I'm gonna give you order. All right. So number 5 is gonna be 2011 Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
We're gonna go with Dirk's revenge tour. That's one of the greatest underdog stories in the NBA, right? Don't you think? They swept the 2-time defending my boys, LA Lakers, beat a young OKC, took down Kevin
Kobe.
Durant. Yep, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Took down Kobe. Dirk went crazy. Didn't he like shoot like 46 of 40? I mean, he was like,
He was unstoppable,
yeah,
man.
it was crazy. He was like shooting crazy. He was like 20 he shot 28.
It almost like when the Mavericks won that, it almost felt like that was for the championships that they messed up in the past.
Yes, man.
Getting beaten by 8 seeds and like
Yes, it's
coming up short,
crazy.
and
Yep.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. And listen, there was no other All Star on the roster besides Dirk Nowitzki that year. Remember that?
yeah,
2011. That was kind of crazy.
for
Then
sure.
I'm gonna give you another one that was kind of dope too, man. We're gonna go with the 2009 Orlando Magic.
Okay.
All right, Dwight Howard and
Big
them
Dwight.
guys. Yes, remember when they beat LeBron?
See, this is
Remember?
that run right there is why I say that Dwight is absolutely a Hall of Famer. One of
Yeah,
the few
bro.
people to just bring a whole bunch of,
Yes. Hmm.
deli market workers
And
and
that's one of them early. That's one of them early.
oil change guys
Yes,
and
we give the credit to Steph Curry right now, but that was a team that was predicated on 3-point shooting too, and
yeah,
Dwight Howard just grabbing all the boards. He being a garbage man. Do you
just
understand what
being
I'm
big
saying?
and strong.
Yes, and you know what I mean, like out rebounding everybody, and that was a really good run for them.
Fun times, man. I
Yeah,
loved when
that was,
Dwight
you
Howard
know what
was
I
like
mean.
on the top of his game.
Yes, that was pretty cool. Then we got, this is one of my favorite things. All right. I got it because this is a kid. You know what I mean? I'm pretty young. I'm loving this. But it's back to back. All right. Runs that I'm going to give you for my number 2. Okay.
3.
Well, my number 3. Sorry. It's going to be the New Jersey Nets back to back finals appearance. Okay.
Can't believe they didn't win one.
Yo, wasn't that crazy, bro?
Yeah.
Especially to get Jason Kidd after being so shitty you know what I mean, a couple of years before that, to
Yeah.
automatically just jump and
Jason
just,
Kidd and Vince Carter was
oh my
quite the duo,
God,
man.
Kerry Kittles, Richard Jefferson. That was a great squad.
Yeah.
That was a great squad of people. Shit, he was averaging like 27 assists, 6 rebounds, and like it was just amazing. But then again, you had Tim Duncan, you know what I mean, kind of go crazy on us
Yeah.
in that first one. That was amazing to kind of just being there and kind of seeing that. I was loving seeing New Jersey in the back-to-back. Kenyon Martin, man, those boys was amazing. Then I got to go number 2. I got to go with, listen, man, this is crazy, bro. I guess it is a wing 2-guard kind of world, man, but to see this guy in action back in 2006 when he carried them boys, when the Heat was down 0-2, Dwayne Wade became a man. What did he average? 35? 8 rebounds,
Yeah.
4 assists, 3
That might be one of the
steals.
best runs. That might be one
What?
of the best like final. It's in my top 3 finals performances
What,
ever.
bro? The way that they beat Detroit, like that was amazing, man. That was just,
Yeah.
it was just really nice. It was really dominant and really clutch. You know what I mean? And he actually ascended, you know what I mean, into being D Wade. Now, my top underrated run. All right. Check it out. Because these guys had to get one. Right? In 1995, right? So it was always about the super team, right? But I'm gonna give you one. So listen, I'm a kid, bro. I gotta, you know what I mean? I'm a kid. I gotta tell you something that was really cool. Akeem Olajuwon's getting old, man. They want to get him one. You know what I mean? Pat and these guys can't get one. Mike is in everybody's way. Akeem is still looking good, still got the dream shake. Clyde Drexler can't get past him, and they always tried to pit him up as the most athletic nemesis to Michael Jordan at his time. You know, I don't know why, but they and you know,
It's still one of the more random
yeah,
things I've ever
it's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? But they ended up acquiring Clyde Drexler after
and like his last year, right?
absolutely,
Yeah,
these dudes was barely 500 the year before. You know what I mean?
Bro, that one time I had COVID, I remember watching the entirety of the Rockets Magic finals for no
Yes,
reason.
bro. They beat 450 win teams that playoff to make it to that
Yeah.
championship. You know what I mean? They beat Utah. They beat Barkley when Barkley was supposed to win. When Barkley was up 3-1 on it. It was
They had
crazy.
a team, man.
Yes, David Robinson, Shaq, and Penny, like Hakeem and them dominant. That's when he won the MVP, and it was kind of, you know what I mean? He averaged what, 35, 12, and like 9. It was amazing.
Yeah.
35, 12, and 5, excuse me. But it was great. That was one of the greatest things to ever see, was somebody that was like just, you know,
Oh yeah. So real quick, right?
underdog story.
I have 2 quick basketball questions, kind of from our minute to win it segment. That's not going to happen. But real quick, I just want your opinion on it. Who do you believe more in the playoffs this year, the Memphis Grizzlies or the Milwaukee Bucks? Tough question, right? Because for me, it's like, do I believe in the
Milwaukee.
Grizzlies? Milwaukee?
Milwaukee.
Really? I don't. It's like, because for me, it's like, it's
For
Doc
the
Rivers.
East. For the East, I got to go with
Doc
Milwaukee.
Rivers.
Yeah, I think the East is less. The West is a mess.
I don't know, man. Because I absolutely think the Bucks are going to get cracked by the Celtics I don't know. I think that. Do you think the Bucks can beat the Cavs?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, do we think the Bucks are underrated?
Well, I think that they got some gelling to
Oh,
do. I don't think they're underrated. I think they just still have some gelling to do, and I think that the
yeah.
championship pedigree. I think you know what I mean.
I mean,
I
I
love
see.
Kenny Atkinson. I love, but and it's like you said earlier. I hope that they're getting out the losing now. But
Yeah.
what we're seeing is what we're used to seeing with Cleveland.
Well, when
Like
it
you know what
comes
I
to
mean.
the Bucks, I think like
Experience.
they're one Dame time run away. I think if
Hmm.
Dame just can, dial it up one last time,
Hmm.
Dame time, I think the Bucks are champions.
Yes, and I believe that this is the time when they turn that on. You know what I mean? I don't think these
Yeah, and they
guys care
have
about the
depth.
regular season
They
at
they
all.
actually they made a ballsy move. Like they traded,
I love that
Middleton, which
Kyle Kuzma move.
you know you know what I mean? Like and trading Middleton, it was just like, damn, why would you do that? That's your veteran. That's like one of the heart and souls of Milwaukee. But they did that. It was a lot of balls to make that move. But damn, like on the Grizzlies end, man, like I don't know, they got good chemistry going on this year. They're getting everything they need out of everybody. Jaren Jackson having a lot better year. John Morant came back on some real true IQ team chemistry shit.
Hmm.
I think the Grizzlies can upset a lot of teams over there in the West. I think like when we watch, I guarantee you what's going to happen is the Grizzlies are going to have a first round matchup against whoever the hell it ends up being. And I think people are going to all go towards that other team that they're facing. And I think the Grizzlies guarantee win that round one matchup.
I don't like the
But we're not
Grizzly
talking
D.
about round one. We're talking about who you believe in more.
Yeah, I don't like the
So,
Grizzly D. That's the only reason why I kind of like
okay.
Milwaukee
But
more.
Jaren Jackson Jr. might win Defensive Player of the Year again.
Yeah, he might, and I love him by himself. But the rest of those guys, you know
All
what?
right. So
Mm-hmm,
even quicker,
mm-hmm,
start, bench, cut. McCall Bridges, Franz Wagner, RJ Barrett. So you got to start one, bench one, and cut one.
mm-hmm. Starting Mikal Bridges.
Okay.
Mm. You said start bench 6 man.
Start, bench, cut. So one of these
So I
players
got
you
a
are going
bench.
to
No,
get.
I got a bench Franz, and I got to cut Barrett. Sorry.
All right, I think I agree with that.
Mm-hmm,
I think I agree with that. Enough said.
mm-hmm.
I think McCall Bridges. I think he's the best of the three, but at the same time, I want to be mad if anyone picked Wagner. Man, that
No.
dude's very underrated,
Mm-hmm,
sneaky good. He's averaging like 20
mm-hmm.
something. I
That's why I
don't even
said
know
I'll
what he's
bench him.
averaging, but
Yeah, I'll bench him for
yeah.
sure.
But RJ Barrett, he got a lot more to prove. So let's conclude with some baseball, man, because we're getting into the MLB season. So
Mm-hmm.
we got like 10 minutes. Like what you want me to answer here?
So, all right, tell me, is it fool's gold or is it real? All right, tell me the Red Sox prospects, Roman Anthony, Marcelo Mayer, and Christian Campbell, are they really big hitters or is it fool's gold?
I think so, brother. I think I don't think it's fool's gold, man. I think the Red Sox, like with these kids, they're for real.
Okay.
Rafael Devers is going to be there for a while too. They got a lot of players that are going to like Duran is good, Rafaela is good. Like those are two guys who aren't necessarily prospects anymore, but they're still really young. But Roman Anthony has a lot of raw talent, man. He's scary how good he is. And Marcello Mayer, he was a top prospect. He was a top draft pick as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Red Sox, they got a lot of young bulls coming,
Yeah,
man.
they look good in the
And
spring breakouts. Like
that's what I'm saying. I really do feel like the Orioles, they gotta find their way into, making sure they get it done, man.
segue. Will Baltimore continue this upward trend to be better than a wild card team? With
Um,
the notable losses that they had. Okay, so they had
yeah,
some heavy. You know what I mean? Tell me, will they continue the upward trend though?
I feel weird about the Orioles because I don't like their coach or
Okay,
manager. If we're getting into MLB lingo, I don't like their manager.
understood.
I don't think they got pitching like that. I mean, I love their bullpen, but I don't love their starters. But
Hmm.
they got all year to fix that.
Okay.
And their hitters, we still got like we still need to see something out of Jackson Holiday. We still need to see something, out of Jerstad and Tolton Cowser, and
Hmm.
like we need to see it.
Hmm.
Like yeah, Gunnar Henderson is great, but he's starting the year off injured. I think they'll. It's tough because it's like the Yankees can still win this division. The Red Sox have a team to win the division. As of right now, I don't think they're better than a wild card team.
Okay.
I just don't.
Okay.
But that could change because, like I said, Some players could be better than what they're supposed to be.
Okay.
Prospects can come up. Like they still got Mayo, and
Uh-huh.
they have a nasty group of people. I just don't think right now in this moment while I'm sitting here, do I think they are
Okay.
for sure the AL East champions, because
Gotcha.
that's what it would take to be better than wild card.
So we've talked about this a couple times on a couple episodes as the season wrapped up, then we got into the off season. But after signing, the largest contract in sports history.
Juan Soto.
Yes, right? Is set to return to the Bronx for a series on May 16th through the 18th. You know the Subway Series, you know how it goes.
That would be such a lovely series to go to.
This is what I want to know. All right, so first of all, we're going to book that. I'm going on SeatGeek right after this to see what we can do.
Okay.
Tell me, what are you expecting in the Bronx first?
I think Juan Soto is going to get booed because I mean this is Yankees fans that we're talking about here. He's gonna get booed, bro. Like
Yeah, I
there's
want
just
to.
no other way around it.
I want to. Okay.
Like I mean, well, I just think for Yankees fans, it's a sour feeling because
Uh-huh.
like the Yankees hadn't been to the World Series since 2009 before this, and you get one. There was one key addition. I mean, there was Jazz Chisholm and
Mm-hmm.
a couple pitchers or whatever, but the one key addition was Juan Soto. He was the guy that got the Yankees there. I don't care what anybody tells me. Juan Soto and his longevity last season was what got the Yankees there. I would boo him if I was a Yankees fan. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, fuck, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if I didn't hate him, it's just like, man, boo, you over there on the other side and then he went to the other side of New York. Like, it's like a 2-hour drive between the Bronx and the
You
Queens.
know what I'm
1 hour,
saying?
whatever.
Yeah.
Like Yankees, it's crazy. I would boo him. I think that's what he'll
Yeah.
get booed, bro.
Yeah. He switched
He'll get
sides like
big
a water
booed.
rod, buddy. We got to get
Yeah.
booed. He got to get booed. And it's crazy, bro, because again, I wanted to ask you because you know too, and it's crazy. I just wanted to let the people in who may not have gone to, you know what I mean, the Bronx to see him, man. Like they loved him. You know what I mean? Like he spends a lot of time with the fans before and after the games, throwing balls and signing autographs and shit. So
He's a good dude.
you know what I mean? A really good dude, beloved. Okay. So like at the end of the day, I can't wait to see how it unfolds myself. I can't wait to be there. I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah, man. You got anything else?
No, that's it, buddy.
All right, so I got just one thing besides
Mm-hmm.
a salute, because me and Wolfie are gonna probably cover baseball coming up here soon.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give you guys the most underrated MVP threats going into the season. Players that you can maybe safely place a bet on to win the MVP this year. So number one, I got Yordan Alvarez of the Astros. I think a lot of people have forgotten about the power that this guy has, and that if he legit just has a fully healthy year, he's gonna hit like 50 plus home runs and 120 plus RBIs, and
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna hit three. People forget how good of a hitter he is. He's a possible 300 hitter. He's amazing in the clutch. He was a big reason the Astros won the 2 World Series that they won. Number two, I got Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres. Listen, he is the only player I have from the National League on this list, because I think if Ohtani is healthy, Ohtani is just going to win MVP, and that just is what it is. But if there's one player that can contend it, it's a fully healthy, fully motivated, fully ready Fernando Tatis Jr. I
Mm-hmm.
think he hits 45 home runs, 120 RBI, steals 30 bases. I think he's going to hit 300. That's just how good he is. I don't care. Y'all can all say steroids, whatever the hell you want. And number three, I got Rafael Devers. We were just talking about it. We were just talking about the Red Sox. Listen, he's going to be a DH this year,
Mm-hmm.
but Ohtani showed that DHs can win MVPs. Devers is a fantastic hitter, and all he has to do is focus on hitting. This was my argument last year for Ohtani. Ohtani had to put a lot of focus into pitching and hitting, which meant that it took away from his hitting a little bit. He only hit last year, 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases, MVP. I think the same effect. Rafael Devers is not going to have to focus on playing third. He might have to step in here and there. But I think with him fully focused on hitting, he's going to hit 50 bombs, man.
I think
That's
you're on
another
to
bet.
something. I think you're on to something. I think you're on to something. I think that is a recipe. Once it
Yeah.
is to be done, it is to be replicated. Every Everything
Yeah,
in sports is
you
about
make a
copycat.
pure hitter focus on that,
Hmm.
all that like, that's all Devers just gonna be taking cuts in the cage, he's not gonna be practicing how
Yeah.
to be a better third baseman, he already got his money, he
Hmm.
could be the next David Ortiz
Hmm.
for the Red Sox if he really wants to. David Ortiz got by just fine being a DH.
Hmm.
Number 4, I got Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers, man.
Boom.
Listen, Mookie Betts is unfortunately a lot of people think Mookie Betts is sick. I don't know what's
Hmm.
going on over there. He's gonna probably start the season trying to ramp up because he lost a lot of weight due to a sickness. A lot of people think he's still sick because he's just not looking good. But Freddie Freeman, it's a good chance for him to step up. Dodgers have a whole bunch of hitters. I think Freddie Freeman, if he's healthy from point A to point B, former MVP, I think he's a very good underrated threat to that MVP. But number 5, he probably won't win it. He probably won't even sniff it. But I got Riley Green of the Tigers, man. I think he's going to have a very underrated year. I think the Tigers are going to be your AL Central champions. And I think a big reason is because Riley Green's going to go off. And that's all I got for baseball, man. Listen, I am very pumped for this season. It's coming. I've done all my fantasy leagues. I'm getting ready to get my betting books together. I'm ready to go. I got MLB The Show, man. Shout out to MLB The Show for being out. The Nationals, they got all these young bulls up there, Dylan Cruz, James Wood going next Saturday, man. Listen, I'm so pumped for this MLB season, and I cannot wait to take you guys on the ride with us. Ken will be here, with me,
Yes.
bringing in the NBA playoffs.
Yes.
We have a surprise return coming soon that will also be helping us get into the NBA playoffs.
Hmm.
It's WrestleMania season, so we're covering that. Football, the off season, we got, like I said, baseball coming into play, all these video games coming out. We are going to be here. Kevin and I will be smoking some good weed on some other episodes. So make sure you guys subscribe. Thank you guys for 700 subscribers.
Yes.
I know it don't seem like a lot, but it's a lot to
Yes.
us. We appreciate it.
Yes.
We appreciate all the views we've been getting lately, especially overseas. Our
Yes.
overseas following has been amazing. So to all you guys that can somehow understand us and somehow understand all of our jokes, salute to you. Keep
Yes.
watching. Make sure you guys subscribe, share, leave some feedback, kick back and relax. Enjoy everything that we got.